You're listening to the Astromommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the Astromommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the Astromommy newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. So many squares, so little time. Be prepared for emotional turbulence. Daily Horoscope for Wednesday and Thursday, May the 3rd through the 4th, 2023. Good morning, friends. We are only 2 days away from the lunar eclipse on Friday. The moon is in Libra on Wednesday and will ingress into Scorpio on Thursday morning. The moon enters the Via Combusta on Wednesday at 6:44 a.m. Eastern Time. The Via Combusta spans the zodiac from 15 degrees Libra to 15 degrees Scorpio, so the moon won't leave this space until right after the lunar eclipse on Friday, which will be happening at 14 degrees Scorpio, 58 minutes, with only 2 minutes of arc left to go before she is through this swath of the zodiac. The Via Combusta, also known as the Burned Up Road or the Burnt Path, is an area of the zodiac that is especially uncomfortable for the moon, in that it is the part of the sky where in ancient times the Milky Way ripped the sky into 2 hemispheres, spanning from Aries Taurus to Libra Scorpio, with 6 signs on each side. Due to precession, the Milky Way currently intersects Taurus Gemini and Scorpio Sagittarius. Anthony Lewis, in his article titled The Origin of the Via Combusta Burned Path, writes, quote, in a fascinating study of the import of the Milky Way in ancient philosophy, Linda Harris notes that in many ancient cultures, the Milky Way was viewed as a vertical axis or tree and a path leading to the heavens. She further notes that Aristotle, writing in the 4th century BCE, did not regard the Milky Way as containing the flow of a milk-like substance, but rather that the Milky Way was a low and steady burning of dry exhalation, located below the sphere of the moon. In other words, the route traced by the Milky Way through the zodiac belt was, in Aristotle's view, a burned path formed by the steady burning of dry exhalation, unquote. The ancients considered this area to be a very detrimental and deleterious place for the moon. Astrologer John Frawley explains in his book, The Horary Textbook, that, quote, the moon's passage through the Via Combusta shows a period of unpleasant emotional turbulence, unquote. Frawley goes on to say that the belief about this portion of the zodiac is, quote, connected with the ancient purification rituals around menstruation, unquote. This sentiment fits extremely well with this lunar eclipse, so close to the South Node in Scorpio. There most definitely may be a spiritual cleansing, purification, or purgation of some kind, and it could be very emotionally deep, raw, and uncomfortable. If you have any prominent Scorpio placements, be prepared to feel this eclipse, or if the ruler of the eclipse, Mars, in Cancer, is making any significant aspects to your natal chart, this too could influence your experience. So just be aware that the moon will be traveling through this portion of the zodiac from Wednesday to Friday, and it could mean that there is an underlying emotional turbulence, like an underwater current or a feeling of dis-ease that is hard to shake. Because it is punctuated by an eclipse, this energy could last through the weekend as well. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Wednesday. The moon in Libra will form a quincunx to the sun in Taurus at 2:08 a.m. Eastern Time. This represents a change or separation or unwillingness between the plotline and the environment, or the mission and the circumstances. There's something that feels off between our relationships, feelings, or habits, and what we are trying to build in our lives, or our long-term goals. At 5:10 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon in Libra forms a square to Mars in Cancer. This is an attempt to feel comfortable, but it could cause strife, conflict, and emotional turmoil. The Libra moon is trying to keep the peace, but the Mars in Cancer is whiny and feeling some type of way, and there could be fights, conflicts, and stress. Simultaneously, the moon in Libra is also forming a sesquiquadrate to Saturn in Pisces. This is some sort of sacrifice that is underway, but not yet complete. It's like the ball has been set in motion, but there are obstacles and delays in the way, and only time will remove them. Then an hour later at 6:19 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday evening, Mars in Cancer forms a sesquiquadrate to Saturn in Pisces as well. Another sacrifice, and this one is a bit more volatile. Fire and water. Discipline and faith are required now. Satisfaction is hard to come by. We've already had the trine between these two, Mars and Saturn, back at the end of March of 2023, and this is the next step on the way towards the opposition, which won't happen until Mars enters Virgo in July 2023. So this is a building up of tensions that won't actually get any relief until July. And that opposition will come after Mars and Venus almost conjoin, but don't because Venus slows down and turns retrograde in Leo this year. At that same time in July, the Sun will be in Cancer and will be forming an opposition to Pluto retrograde at 29 degrees Capricorn. So whatever tension is building right now will be coming to a head in the third week of July. Pay attention to this transit for clues as to what this will be about in your own life. We will talk about the Venus retrograde and Mars opposite Saturn more as we get closer to those transits. Thursday. On Thursday, we start out with the moon in Libra trine Venus in Gemini at 3:54 a.m. Eastern Time. So the energy is affectionate, curious, and social. Then at 4:42 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon forms a quincunx to Neptune in Pisces. It's like we don't want anything to do with loss, disillusionment, deception, fantasy, idealized love, love affairs, or any of that. The quincunx represents a very uncomfortable situation where the two parties involved don't want anything to do with each other, but they are required to be in each other's presence for whatever reason, and they have to try to make it work. At 5:16 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon forms an opposition to Jupiter in Aries, symbolizing that there is a decision between what we want for our relationships in a lunar capacity, routine, habit, marriage, love, fairness, children, and the fluctuations of all of those things, and what we want for the grand vision, the independent self that wants to expand, conquer, go on adventures, travel, see the world, and love big are at a standoff. And we have to make a decision because life-changing events are right around the corner with Jupiter about to square Pluto on May 17th, 2023. This is where we are checking in with our emotional selves and laying down a judgment, weighing what fits into our lives and what doesn't, and making a choice. With the lunar eclipse happening on Friday, we will purge the stuff that doesn't make the cut, so this is an important transit. The moon enters her fall in the sign of Scorpio at 10:32 a.m. Eastern Time. This is where the moon has to go way down into the depths of the emotion ocean, dig up the hidden stuff she's buried beneath the sand, and take a look at it. If you're unfamiliar with that phrase, you can read about it here. The moon immediately upon her ingress into Scorpio forms a square to Pluto in Aquarius. This represents actions that create irrevocable change within our emotions, our bodies, and our hearts. Something is gestating. This could be a time when truthful feelings come out. With the lunar eclipse tomorrow, this Thursday and Friday could be really emotionally intense as we purge deep feelings and transform ourselves internally. It's like the scorpion is being turned inside out and all the squishy stuff is being exposed. Ouch! Then at 1:39 p.m. Eastern Time, Venus in Gemini squares Neptune in Pisces. And this is when we could be reaching for the painkiller just to make it stop. The desire to escape, disappear into the fog, go off into the pages of a book or the scenes of a movie, and escape your life may be really strong. Venus and Neptune in a stressful square represent disillusionment, the end of a love affair, financial loss, deception in love, and health problems, especially those that could be caused by Venusian things like chocolate and sweets. This could also represent losing yourself in sexual pleasures. At 5:56 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon in Scorpio conjoins the South Node, and this is the major dumping before the eclipse tomorrow. This is like just opening up the drain at the bottom of the emotion ocean. Let it all out like a whirlpool. This clears up a lot of space internally, but it's not an easy process. Then at 8:53 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon in Scorpio forms a trine to Saturn in Pisces, and serious feelings are easier to reach now that the bottom of the tank has been cleared away. It's almost like after the big dump, the great purge, boundaries are clear, clarity of mind is easier, and we attain emotional stability. This is like the calm after the storm. Order has been restored, at least for a little while. This could also represent talking to elders, being disciplined in domestic matters, and having controlled emotions. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? Six of Wands reversed. On this card, we see the goddess Shakti, naked and in front of a six-spoked wheel of red fire. She has 4 arms, and in each hand she holds magical wands. She is victorious in the center of this radiant fire. In the upright position, the Six of Wands means success, victory, and achievement. In the reverse position, it can mean private success, a fall from grace, or egotism. As the card for the day, I feel that this card is saying that there are really intense emotions going on right now, but they are of a private nature. With the moon in Scorpio and the lunar eclipse building, this feels to me that whatever success, victory, or achievement you have, it is being felt on the inside rather than out for everyone to see. Likewise, if someone has fallen out of your favor or you theirs, it could be due to an egotistical nature or experience. I would love to hear your thoughts on today's reading and horoscope. I hope this is helpful. Until Friday, Astromummy.
Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the Mother Peace Round Tarot, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the Astromummy newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the Astromummy newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.